Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and I'm back with another recap of I Got a Story to Tell, episode 6, the following of Angela Whitaker. This was the longest episode that I've watched, and it felt like a whole movie, like literally an hour, almost by 2 minutes shy of an hour and 30 minutes. This is a whole movie. So basically it starts off with, the character Regine and her boyfriend, they're out in the woods, and they decided to go to Pound Town out there. And then she was talking about like how she on TikTok, and documenting her every move or whatever the case may be. So she make a few videos, and then next she starts walking towards, I guess, this cliff or whatever, wherever, I don't know. She starts walking away, and then next out of nowhere she sees like a shadow ghost figure, and something grabs him. So then now her boyfriend's talking about, okay, I'm going to clean up. And he's walking around looking like, where you at, babe, babe, babe? Next thing he starts seeing all these dolls, and they think he's thinking that she's playing a prank on him. And she's calling him like, babe, 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 where you at? Next thing he go missing too. So now we get into the characters. So we have Angela, Rachel, Charles, Kenny, and Lily. So Charles and Angela, they're married. Charles is like a record producer, and Angela, she works someplace in the office. And then her best friend, she's into like these spirits and entities, good spirits, bad spirits, whatever. She's into that type of stuff. So Angela comes home, and she calls her husband Charles. He's still at the studio working on a song or whatever, and I guess they just started to have Chinese food. So eventually he comes home and stuff like that. So basically them two are still mourning the death of their child. That they don't ever say what happened to her. I'm thinking maybe she got sick or she died from SIDS. They don't really say what happened to her. Just know that they're mourning the death, which was a year ago. So her baby would probably been 1 year old. They had a daughter. So they're mourning the death of that. Fast forward, Rachel, which is her best friend, their best friend, talks to them about wanting Angela to take some pictures for her document blog, whatever the case would be, that she has coming up. And Angela was kind of on the fence that she don't really want to do it, but she's out, she'll think about it. So then later on that night, the Chinese food come, they decide to have dinner, they watch a movie or whatever, and then they go to sleep and wake up to the next day. So the next day they go about their lives, they job whatever. So now it's the afternoon, nighttime, and Charles is at the studio, and he's finally figured out the lyrics to the song with the help of his wife texting what they wanted to have for dinner or whatever. And so I guess she didn't respond to the text, and she called him. He was like, listen, I understand we just this and this. I love it, but I'm gonna call you back once I finish. I can write it because I already got the song in my head, and I want to go ahead and get it down while I can. So he eventually calls his friend Kenny and asks how did he work the sound bar or whatever. He didn't know how to do it, so he was like, well, his friend suggested that he go outside, take a walk, and he'll meet him there. So while Charles is on the phone walking down the block, whatever, this car comes out of nowhere and hits him. Next thing you know, he loses his life. So now it's been a couple of days or a week or so, and Angela receives an urn of his ashes, and then she sees his headphones and cell phone, and it starts playing his song. And she's not putting it together like, why is it creepy? But she just hears the song playing over and over again. So eventually her friend Rachel comes over and talks to her and was just there to comfort her. She was like, next, the song starts playing again. She was like, this is weird, because Angela says to Rachel, Charles never wrote the lyrics he never finished producing the lyrics to the song. So it's like, why is the song playing with the lyrics when it should just be the melody? But whatever the case would be, Angela said that she's fine. She let the music play, and then she told Rachel to go home. So I think the next day or two, Rachel decides that she's gonna come back over and spend some time with her. They're gonna have a girls' night. They have a sleepover, and then later on, she basically cooked lunch and dinner for her, and then she spent the night. The next day, she after Angela done cleaned her stuff up and took a shower and stuff, they got herself back to normal. She was in the kitchen, whatever, and the song started playing all over again, and Angela finally told her, like, excuse me, she started walking around the house because she noticed the song was playing again. So she was like, and she started sensing like, So that's when she tapped into her special senses and realized that Charles, aka Chucky, is basically his spirit is there with them in the house. So every time you hear the song, that's him letting Angela know that he's around and he's thinking of her. And she started talking to him like, I missed you so much. And then, the song will start playing all over again. So after that, Angela eventually decides to take Rachel up on her offer and go to take pictures for them. So they go on to do the pictures, and she also meets up with Rachel's other crew members, and they start walking around the same gravesite in the beginning where the girl and her boyfriend got kidnapped at, and realized there's a lot of history that this guy named Mitchell something, he would take these kids and kill them there. And it was also a story about, well, now I want to get too far ahead, but yeah, it was also a story about they were going deep into the woods after Angela was taking the pictures of the beautiful scene and stuff like that, talking about how there's two parts of the thing. One is called Devil's Cliff and Demon's Creek. So basically the guy would kill them on Devil's Cliff and then bury them in Demon's Creek. So while they were deep into the woods, they have like these special UV ray binoculars that they put on. You can see at nighttime, like X-ray vision, like the blue. You can see the colors at nighttime, like that infrared color. So the rest of the crew put on their goggles, and Angela was standing somewhere in between the middle, and next, all you see is her body being dragged, like, and and then couldn't find a word to tell her, like, listen, don't move. Like, since she's into that stuff, she already knows what that's all about. And she don't feel scared or creeped out about the whole situation. So eventually, they was able to get Angela out. And then on the ride home, Rachel apologized to Angela for putting in that situation. She was like, listen, I apologize. I shouldn't have put you through this stuff. She was like, it's okay. So they get back home, and Rachel's there, and she tells her, I'm apologizing to you again because that was wrong. She never did that. Eventually, Rachel decides she was going to leave because, she's been hooking up with Carl, one of her guys that she worked with. And she was like, listen, it's all fun and games. That's all it is. So eventually, Rachel leaves, and then Angela, she's outside in the pool, and she's with the urn. She starts thinking about all the good times she had with Charles while she's drinking some wine, and then eventually she goes in the house because the song is playing all over again. So after that, Rachel decides to come over to the house again. She said, I brought treats. No, that was before that, yeah. So she asked about the pictures. Did she develop the pictures? So later on that night, I believe, she said she's going to get to the next day. So the next day, Rachel did come over, and she had a surprise for her, which was her niece, Lily, which is also Angela's niece. So that was a great sight to see for her. So Lily was going to be staying with them for a week or two. So she finally started developing the pictures later on that night, and Lily got situated in the house. And while she was developing the pictures, she noticed that there was a ghost girl in every one of the pictures. So, long story short, the girl that was in the pictures, her mom basically chose her husband over the girl. And basically the husband didn't like the fact that the husband chose the daughter over the wife. And the wife felt jealous of the daughter. So instead of trying to, like, be there for the daughter, she basically gave her daughter away to some guy, which is the guy that been killing all the kids there where they was at in the woods. Yeah, it's basically offering a sacrifice. So now the girl came back to take the place of getting a new mom, because basically the mom just shunned her like, deuces. you're on your own. Like, so now that the daughter felt a certain type of way, her spirit is now bad because she got some resentment towards her mother. But whatever the case may be, now the girl is stalking Angela, and now everything is starting to go left. Stuff just starts happening in her house, and now that Lily's there, is really happening. So one day, I guess, Angela decided to leave her house real quick, leaving the girl there. I don't even know how old the girl was, but she's like 8 or 9 years old, in the house real quick, and the girl started hearing noises. So she turns on the TV, and then she starts going upstairs because at the same time, Angela thought that Lily was in her clothes because there was a big mess downstairs. Also, the urn was outside in front of the pool. There was a towel out there. And she was like, the little girl was like, listen, I didn't do this and all that stuff. And she yelled at her. But eventually, Angela decided, she apologized when she came back in, because before she came in, Lily took her phone and started recording as she was going upstairs. And when she did, the ghost girl came out of the pile of clothes. It was coming towards the girl, and then the girl ran downstairs and called Angela on the phone underneath a cover, saying like, I think somebody's in the house. Next, Angela comes in the house, and they go in the living room, hug it out and stuff like that. So later on that night, they make cookies and some food or whatever, and they decide to go in the living room to eat the food. Next, they hear a bowl fall in the kitchen. It's like, well, how did that happen? They get up and go. Angela gets up and go look, and tell Lily to sit on the couch, and they realize there was a bowl on the floor spill. And then when Lily looks over the couch, even though she don't see it, the ghost girl is down behind the couch, which is crazy. So, long story short, the girl wanted Angela to be her new mother. So basically, Rachel went back to this bookstore to find some book about buried souls, and the guy told her, listen, in order for the bad spirits to leave you alone, you need to get a good spirit to basically swap places. Basically, it was like a sacrifice. So long story short, they had to bury, and before, Lily ends up getting hurt by the ghost girl in the house, and then the nurses call Rachel to come to the hospital to go check on her daughter and her niece. And Angela's there, and Rachel's asking, well, how does this happen? She's like, I don't know. So basically, Rachel stays at the hospital. Angela goes back home, drinks, and she starts crying because she really don't know what happened, even though she knows what happened. And then, long story short, Lily's trying to recover from her injuries, and she eventually, before she wakes up, Rachel's sitting there, and she looks through Lily's phone, and she sees what happens in her house, and she realizes that she goes back to the bookstore where that creepy guy was, and he tells her, listen, you gotta make a sacrifice. So that's when she realized, okay, now Lily and us, we gotta go back home to get to Angela, because, now she's in trouble. And long story short, they had to take Charles's ashes, bury it into the ghost girl's grave site. And before they can do that, they end up taking Rachel, but they was able to bury the souls and was trying to take Lily. Lily was able to get free from the ghost girl because of Charles. He was able to grab hold of the little girl. And so basically it's just Lily and Angela. Basically there's no Rachel no more because they took her, and Charles is there too. So yeah. So the next 2 months later, basically Lily lives with Angela, so it's just them two, and she's still developing pictures or whatever. So they getting ready to take her to this new school. And as they leave the house, she realized she left her coffee. So Angela tells Lily to go to the car. Angela goes back in the house. She gets her coffee, and she starts hearing some noises, and into where she developed her pictures at in the room, it magically opens, and then she goes in, she looks at all the pictures, realizes there's a whole bunch of kids with their faces and stuff, and then she was just like, and then you hear the ghost at the end saying, you're my mommy. You're my mommy. And next you know, she gets scared, and that was it. That one was crazy. That was the most intense episode ever. Like, for real, crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. It's so much twisted thriller stuff going on that is like, it's intriguing to watch, but it's like creepy at the same time. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys like this recap. I think there's like 2 more episodes. I hope it's 2 more episodes. If not, I don't know. But if there is, I got y'all the next one. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this recap, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.